Today's episode will be dedicated to the alternative rock group Actress from Bellingham, Washington. So if you are new to them or want to learn more about them, please stick around. This is All Gas, No Trash. My name's Adam, and welcome back to the program, and welcome to a brand new episode. And before we get underway, we do have to do the Game Rage No Curse Minute, where we kill the first 60 seconds of the program in order to play nice with the YouTube algorithm with no cursing and no swearing whatsoever. And first, I just want to give a quick thanks to everybody that has been listening to our program on RSS, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you've been listening. We sincerely appreciate it. Please continue to do so. And secondly, for those people that have been listening on YouTube and continue to like, comment, and subscribe, we appreciate you as well. Thirdly, we have more episodes for you on the way, so be on the lookout for that, and that'll be the Game Rage No Curse Minute. All right, let's get underway with the episode. As previously stated, we are talking about Actress from Bellingham, Washington. And this is a city that is far closer to the Canadian border than it is Seattle. And as far as the comparisons that I made about Actress being akin to other bands, those other bands were Interpol, The Strokes, Kaiser Chiefs, and there are a few other ones that come to mind. There was a band called Snuff Redux from Seattle that had a similar vibe to Actress, but I think they have been on indefinite hiatus or just completely disbanded. But between those two, I feel that there is this similarity that exists in terms of like how they do the vocals. It's very Bruce Springsteen-esque, like with this narrative-driven lyrics, and I don't know how else to describe it, but if you've listened to Bruce Springsteen's music and you hear Actress and Snuff Redux, like I think you kind of know what I'm talking about. I just don't know how to put it into words more eloquently, but there's this other artist, Hobo Johnson, who does like this spoken word delivery. Okay, maybe that's what I'm looking for. Bruce Springsteen has this spoken word vocal quality to his music, and I think Snuff Redux, in addition to Actress, kind of take from that same branch or that same root of Bruce Springsteen. And I'm not even sure if Actress, even likes Bruce Springsteen, but that's what I take away from their music. So if you like any of those bands that I previously mentioned, I think you'll like Actress, but I do have some criticisms about their music now that I've kind of warmed myself up or become more familiar with their music. And I'm not sure at what point I'm going to bring that up, but let's save it for when we listen to the EP that they just released called Summer's Daughter. And I should have reviewed this when it came out, but I had some stuff come up, so now I'm taking the opportunity to record the episode. But we're going to listen to the 3 tracks. We'll talk about them, and then maybe I'll share my thoughts in between tracks, or maybe I'll just do an entire segment after the fact about my concerns with Actress. So anyways, let's go ahead and listen to the EP that they released just a week or two ago, and we're going to start off with the first track off of the EP called Summer's Daughter, and that track is called Chances. So pull it up on your digital streaming platform of choice. We're going to listen to Chances from Actress. Going in. All right, welcome back. That was Actress with their song called Chances off of their EP called Summer's Daughter. Let us know in the comments what you thought about it. All right, so I do have some thoughts I want to share, and I'm going to start off with the bad. I don't particularly care for this mix, and I think the volume on the vocal track could stand to be like 15 to 20% louder. The drum kit, the crash from the drum kit is kind of blending in with the distortion of the guitar to the point that it also affects the lead vocals. Overall, I think the mix for this track just sounds a little bit muddled. And it's very difficult for me to describe music in a spatial sense, but if I were standing in front of this band like 30 feet out or however many feet out I would be standing, I want to hear the drum kit to the left and right of me, panned to the left and right of me, to hear the toms, the snare, and the crash from the cymbals, or I don't know how to describe them, like the hi-hats and all that shit. I want to hear it more on the side because it feels like it's coming more from the middle and it's just crashing with the vocals, and I don't think it comes across distinctly. And then you throw on the lead guitar, which already has distortion as one of the effects, so it just compounds, and I think it ultimately conflicts with the lead vocals. But I just think overall, in addition to everything I just said, that the mix could stand to be 10 to 15% louder. So that's how I feel in terms of the negatives. In terms of the positives, I love the energy in this track, the sense of urgency in the lead vocalist's voice, in addition to the great guitar riffs, and I'd even give credit to the bass line being a real highlight in the track. But like I said, it could stand to be better in terms of the mix. Referring back to the bass, I do want to talk about the moment around the 1 minute, 20-second mark where there's a moment of exhale from the chorus where it's just the lead vocalist, the bass, and the drum kit that I really enjoyed. And there was also this moment for the lead guitar where there was like this warbly effect that panned from ear to ear. I don't know if it was left to right or right to left, but regardless, cool moment, great lead guitar solo. However, and I hate to go back to the negative, but I am developing a concern on two fronts. One, this track reminds me of Inside, which was released previously. It almost is indistinguishable from that track, and I am developing a concern that perhaps with more releases, maybe the songs might start blending into each other. And I don't want that to happen. I want every song to have its own feel. And we still have yet to listen to the rest of the EP, but I hope that we don't have more moments like this. The second thing is, with bands like the Red Pears and Shirley Tempo that take notes from bands like the Strokes, I am concerned that there is a ceiling or perhaps a limit in terms of success, that the highest accolades that have been reached by bands like Interpol and the Strokes have been achieved by them, and everything else afterwards will have a diminishing return. With the Red Pears, I mean, they have a pretty decent following as far as their Instagram follower count. It's around like 60 or 70K. And I think they probably have 300,000 monthly listeners on Spotify. I couldn't tell you what the numbers are for Shirley Tempo, but I just have this idea in my head that they can't exceed the first generation with bands like the Strokes and Interpol and the Kaiser Chiefs, things like that. That can these bands exceed their masters, or can these bands exceed the originators or forefathers of the genre? And maybe that's a preposterous idea to even compare a band that is just starting out to the greats. But if you're talking about success, I do believe that when it comes to music, for a band that's just starting out, that they have unreal expectations for their music and they should try to be as unique as possible. And that's the problem that I'm encountering with Actress, is that are they distinct enough from Shirley Tempo and the Red Pears or even the Strokes? Are they distinct enough to separate themselves from those bands to really have any type of success? That is the concern that is developing with every song that I've heard from Actress at this moment. And while there is nothing wrong with making music in the stylings of indie rock, garage rock, baroque rock, or just anything that happened in the early 2000s, eventually all those bands moved on and evolved their sound in some manner. With the Strokes, from Is This It to Room on Fire, one of the criticisms that was made about Room on Fire was how much it sounded like Is This It. Then the band decided to make First Impressions of Earth, which was a little bit more daring. And then there was an extended hiatus for The Strokes, which in turn resulted in Angles being created. They're probably their most jarring album yet, but it had something daring with the lead track Machu Picchu having a falsetto reggae kind of feel, which I think is one of the coolest tracks that they've made. And of course, Julian Casablancas went on his own ventures with the Voids from his own first solo album and then eventually making albums with the Voids. He really went out there and tried to create a distinct sound for himself. And then you have a return to form, so to speak, with Come Down Machine, and then getting even more daring with the New Abnormal. So I guess the point that I'm kind of getting at is that I'm asking of you, Actress, all the members of Actress, that you become more daring. Don't play it safe. Do not try to emulate the bands that I just talked about that you may have taken inspiration from. Be bold, be daring, because that is the only way that you are going to set yourselves apart from bands like the Red Pears and Shirley Tempo, the Strokes. Show me something that is worth talking about. And with that said, let's go ahead and get to the next track. Go ahead and pull up Por Supuesto from Actress off of their EP called Summer's Daughter. Pull it up on your digital streaming platform of choice. Once again, the track is called Por Supuesto from Actress, Going In. All right, welcome back. That was Actress with their track called Por Supuesto from their EP called Summer's Daughter. Let us know in the comments what you thought about it. All right, all the comments that I made previously about the mix stand here. In addition to that, man, I think this song sounds a lot like Skin, unfortunately, and the comments that I made that Actress's music is kind of blending in together, it's happening here with this track, and I don't know if I have anything else to add. I'm not even going to give a score as far as this EP goes. I just kind of wanted to talk about the music and some thoughts that I had about the band itself, but let's go ahead and get to the next one. And the last track is called Summer's Daughter. So go ahead and pull it up on your digital streaming platform of choice. Once again, the track is called Summer's Daughter from Actress, Going In. All right, welcome back. That was Actress with their song called Summer's Daughter from their EP of the same title. Let us know in the comments what you thought about it. To be perfectly honest, I did not like that track, and I'm not going to take the time to explain why that is. So for now, we're just going to be talking about Actress, the band itself, and also their music in general. To start off with, I want to say that Actress is a band that I think has potential, but I need to see more out of you guys. I think you need to be a little bit more bold and daring in terms of the music. As I stated previously with the Strokes, to go from Is This It to Angles or even the New Abnormal, I need to see that type of evolution, because that's the only thing that's going to set you apart in terms of the audio sense. In terms of visuals, I understand that you guys are a developing band, but you do need to create a distinct look with your typeface or font that you use for the band itself. I guess if I had to give a general example, let's talk about Tyler, the Creator with Chromacopia. If you have seen the visuals for Tyler, the Creator for the campaign of Chromacopia, you notice that the videos have a grayscale look to them with a, I guess, brownish tint. In addition to that, he created an entire new moniker with like this character that wears like a bellhopper outfit in addition to his spiky hair with the mask and that green color, that signature green color for Chromacopia. I need all those things to happen for Actress. You guys need a color that you stick to, a typeface or font that you're using for your word mark. Just try to create a distinct look in addition to a distinct sound. I know that probably comes across as a little bit generic, but like I said, I see the potential, but I'm asking of you to try something out, whether that's incorporating another instrument or making a music video like you've never done before. Think outside the box in every sense of the word, because I don't have the answers. That's for you to find out. But at the root of it, like I said, I still believe, but I need to see more out of you guys. So, with that said, I'm going to end the episode. Thank you so much for tuning in, and check out Actress with their latest EP, Summer's Daughter. Check out all their discography. Follow them on Instagram, and I will catch you all on the next episode, and I'll see you next time.